Okay, I'm here to talk about Brett's uncle and his knife collection that he left to Brett. I don't know his name, so I apologize for that, but I was able to research each one and was able to understand a little bit about his collection, so I thought it would be a waste to not explain what his uncle was collecting and why. From what I understand from Brett, he was in the Vietnam War. He collected guns and knives, and that was one of his, I guess, passions. And I just wanted to explain a little bit about what he was collecting, and some of the stuff that he has is kind of amazing that he was able to track this stuff down. I guess he went to knife shows, did all that type of stuff. I'll just start with the legality of these. These are considered automatic knives, which is like a switchblade. This is actually pre-World War II. That it came from Germany. They made it for paratroopers. So if you look at the bottom of the Marlin spike, which this was used to untie knots when you were paratrooping, if you got caught in a tree and you had to cut yourself out, they would use what was called a gravity knife. So this knife itself, you would be able to drop the blade with one hand. This was pre-World War II. I believe the date would be, so this is called the Type 1 LGK, Luftwaffe Gravity Knife is what it's called. This is the earliest version of the German Luftwaffe gravity knife called LGK. It's extremely rare and nowadays. Europe outlawed it. England outlawed it. It was considered an automatic knife, which is illegal. And this was made anywhere from 1937 to 1943, what this knife was made. To have it in the condition it's in is kind of amazing, just in itself. And like I said, this one actually has markings on it that are pretty amazing. This is an eagle marking on here. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? Back. It's right here. Is it focusing on it? Okay. So there's an eagle imprint on the Marlin spike. Everything is numbered. So there's a number 2 right there. Why isn't it focusing? No, it's because you're on number 2. Okay. So you can see it right there, number 2, and then it also has imprinted 459. It has a broken clip. This was actually used, which makes it somewhat of an artifact from World War II. So this gravity knife can be operated with one hand. So these, when he was collecting them, they were actually illegal and very hard to find. So this was the Type 1. Then you fast forward to World War II. This was a Type 2 type knife. And the difference was this piece right here, you could push this in and pull off this, open this up and service it. So this was the difference between the first version and then the second version. So you could open it up, clean it, do everything you want to work on it, lubricate it or whatever in the field. And that was a big difference between them. This one, fully functional. It also has an imprint on the blade. It says SMF. I don't know if you can see it. And this one's got markings on it. You can see them, it's dark. This one fully functional with the Marlin spike also. So this was World War II era. Then after World War II, they made a different version, and these are all from Germany. This one was called the trap door. So the door would open and the knife would be able to come out. This one has markings on it. Yeah. You can see. It says Eckhorn, Rostfree, 1956. And so this was made in 1956. Then, I believe in the 60s, they started making them like this. And this one actually has a bone scale on it. This was actually made from bone. I don't know what kind of animal it's from, but that's what this one is. Then this is more getting into the Vietnam era, where they made it a little bit different. They didn't use wood or plastic or bone anymore. They started using metal, and same type of function as the other ones with the Marlin spike. Then fast forward to the 80s and 90s, they started making them a little bit different. They had a bottle opener on them. Same type of deal. These were also able to be taken apart. And then this one, actually a lot of people really are excited about this one on eBay. This is a Colt LL80 bottle opener spike, but this is almost in brand new condition, which is kind of rare to find. It's never been sharpened ever. So and this is the last of the gravity knives. This one, I guess, was probably about the 80s, and it's made by Eagle. So just to kind of review somewhat what we're talking about, this is pre-World War II. These are all German, and the Germans were the only ones making these. So this is pre-World War II, this is World War II, this is after World War II. This is both 60s, Vietnam, and then 80s, and I believe this one is from 98 was when this one was made. So he had a collection of these, and then he was into some different knives also. So this one is made by a company called Cold Steel, and it's called the Triple Action knife. So this one is somewhat rare also, and this one's having a lot of action on eBay that we're selling it on. Same thing with this one. This one's made by Cold Steel. It's called a Ti Light is the name of it, and the Ti stands for titanium. So this one's actually a pretty rare knife also, getting a lot of action on eBay, and it's basically brand new. The outside of it, the handle, is actually made from titanium. So this one's definitely a nice knife. And then he was definitely into these are called butterfly knives. They use the term balisong, is a lot of people what they call them, and basically they're butterfly knives. So he was definitely into these type of knives also. And then this one, I haven't been able to source where this came from, what it was, but this is, it looks like a custom knife. I don't know if he made this himself. That's what kind of the feedback I was getting, is it probably was custom made or handmade. So I'm not sure if your uncle made this one or not. There's no markings on it, but it's a pretty nice knife made out of aluminum and carbon steel on the blade. I hope I've done some type of good for, you, Brett, and, your dad, just to understand that he was definitely collecting the right stuff. He knew his stuff. This probably took years to collect, and going to knife shows was the only way he probably could have got them. So just a lot of time and effort was spent into his collection. I know there's more stuff, swords and daggers and knives that he collected also, and I know he collected guns. But when I started researching each one, it really got me thinking that he had kind of a method to his madness. He collected each gravity knife based on the era and decade. In each one, and all of them are rare. People are going nuts online over them. I posted a picture of basically these knives all in one, and the people were making comments to the tune of, I've never ever seen that many gravity knives in one picture ever, and that's how rare this stuff is. So we're trying to sell it and get top dollar for it. And we've got some stuff on eBay. eBay won't even allow us to put these on. The ones that are on there are kind of by mistake that slipped through, because they're considered illegal in a lot of states. They're considered the same as an automatic knife, so some states don't allow them. And these can be considered illegal also, these butterfly knives. But the collectors want them, so we're hoping that we can sell them and get some type of good money for them. But I hope I did some justice and representing your uncle's collection. Thank you.